Hi there, Felipe once again, your crazy creative designer from Germany. Welcome to the video. If you're new here, do hit the like button, the subscribe button. It does truly help my channel, my new channel, and I hope you can gain some value from my insights. Alright, so let's get into it. Today it's about, as the description says, it's about a couple of speed hacks. I think we're gonna do it on Webflow, but it also counts for Shopify. But yeah, I'll just show you a couple of things that you can do. Yeah, actually, let's go to Webflow. That's better. That you can do to improve your page speed, okay, and your loading times and your general web experience. And so this is a 5-minute hack. So let's get into it before the time runs out. All right, so the first, hold on, I'm just gonna open a test project here. So the first optimization you can do is to upload correctly sized pictures. So I'm gonna use an example here, and I'll show you a tool that I like using for that as well. So for example, I have 8,000 pixels by 5,000. That's like over 4K. You know, it's like more than 8K. So you certainly are not gonna need this size for your web shop. But let's say we have an image that is so large. I'm just gonna get a couple of pictures here. So another one, 7,000 pixels. So yeah, for example, if you have photography with an 8K camera, which is a reality these days, then I guess that's the output you're gonna get, but definitely not necessary on your web shop or website. Okay, so I just got like 3. Okay, so naturally, what you can do, what you can quickly do is to get one of those pictures and edit them. If you're on Windows, right? I use Windows. I'm not sure how it works on Mac. So you can edit them directly in Paint and choose the resize option here and the pixels. You can just type in, you know, like a reduced size of 3,000, which is a good size for a website. Maybe even a little smaller than that. So this has to be compressed, or should be compressed. I'll show you that in a second. So first of all, resizing images somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 is offers a good quality on the website. So because I work with visuals, obviously I have to place value on the quality of images, more so than I have to balance it out with speed. So when in doubt, I'm gonna go for a slightly better quality instead of a too compressed that's German, compressed file to maintain the quality at acceptable levels. So there is a trade-off here. So you gotta think what's more important to you. If you truly want just speed, then try to keep it in the 1,000 pixels kind of range, you know? Okay, so let's say you have many pictures which are not in the proper size. There's this fantastic little tool called, I think it was Bulk. I have it somewhere in my favorites. There you go, Bulk Resize Photos. It's completely free. You can just upload the images and you can bulk resize. Oh jeez, that was because of the consent cookie. Okay, so I'm just gonna upload all 3 here, for example. Yeah, totally free. And then you get the option to scale them down to 50% of their dimensions, okay? And that refers to the resolution, not the compression. This is the compression under image quality. I'll keep it at 100 for now, just to maintain the quality, but we can still scale it down to 50%. So I'm just gonna start the process. It's very fast, very responsive. So, and you can download that as a, so I'm just gonna rename all. So download as a zip file. All right. So if we check it out, we have this one, for example, with the B sign. It's a 3.5 by 2.324, which is around 4K. size 3.8 megabits, and if I go to the original picture, that's 7,000. So exactly 50%, and the size is 12 megabytes. So it got resized down to half of its resolution, and by doing that, it has diminished the size. Actually, it's half the dimensions and diminished the size by around 3x, which is fantastic. All right. Another tip is to use JPEG files where you can. JPEGs are generally better for internet, for web browsing. Oh, I'm running over 5 minutes, so I'm gonna do this a little faster. So JPEG is better in general in terms of how it's read by browsers, and also generally in terms of sizing. It is, if you take the same image in PNG and JPEG, it's generally smaller in JPEG. So yeah, you can use that. But there is another even better format, which is WebP. That's relatively new, but it can be used very successfully. So I'm gonna go to a Webflow project that I have here. Got a couple of large images, right? There you go. So what we can do is, fortunately, now we can compress images and transform them into and transform those to WebP format. As you can see, these are already WebP. I just missed that. Okay, so I can take the cloud, right, and I can compress it to WebP. Yeah, newest file is AVIF. I haven't worked with that before. I'll try it afterwards. So, but generally you get to compress it directly on Webflow. But I've come to find that the compressor is not that good. So I go to this fantastic site called Squish. I'll put it in the link below, which has the best compressor I've ever seen for images. And so you can copy paste it and you can resize it here. You can do that, but the difference here is that it's not a mass tool. So you gotta go one by one, right? But yeah, it's pretty good. So as you can see, compress, and we would have reduced the size by 97% while keeping a lot of the quality. So I'm just gonna download the WebP format. Okay, let's compare both. So we have the JPEG file here, and we have the WebP file here. Okay, so JPEG, WebP, JPEG, WebP, JPEG, and WebP. I mean, look at this. It's barely noticeable, you know. Unless you have like zoom and close-up photography, you can totally use this. So 97% smaller file. And as I said, this compressor is much better. Unfortunately, it's picture by picture, no mass updating. But that's what you can do. You can resize, then you can compress them here. All right. So, but if you prefer, you can also do it on Webflow. Here on the asset manager, compress. It's gonna turn it directly to AVIF or WebP. But again, the other website is a better compressor. So what can you can also do in Webflow is to clean up the CSS. Okay, so Webflow has a tool for that, style selectors, and then you can click that, and it's gonna find unused styles. Okay, I'm using old styles here, so which is cool. But let's say I just get a new one. Okay, new style. So I created this class, and then I'm gonna delete the element. So now if I go to CSS, clean, there you go. It's gonna find the unused style, and then it's gonna delete it if I want to. So fantastic. Another cool thing you can do here is to clean up interactions. So I have no unused interactions at this moment, but let's say I have a mouse hover interaction. It's gonna slide, and that's gonna shrink, and yeah. Actually, it's on hover, so it's gonna be used. Let's say mouse click. Okay, so just slide from the top. It doesn't matter. So yeah, okay. Actually, that looks pretty good. Okay, cool. So it still shows no unused interactions. Then if I remove it, it should show no unused interactions. Huh, what did I mess up here? Not sure. Not sure what I messed up. Let me just reload the page. But you get the idea. Just go for it, and it's actually gonna find unused interactions. I made some mistake here somewhere. I don't know, but it works. Trust me. I've used this lots of times before. Third, an additional recommendation is reducing the DOM, and the DOM is like the nesting of elements. Unfortunately, in Webflow there are lots of style guides that add like 10 subsets of divs to the structure, which is horrible for the web browser to read them. So if you can, reduce DOM as much as possible. And here's a good example. For instance, I have a main contain. Let's say I want to add a div to it. Okay. And the main contain has a maximum height with overflow. That's why we cannot see it. So I'm just going to reverse that quickly so we can see the element height is auto for now, and right, and section may contain it's going to be auto as well. So now we should actually see it, unless I have a maximum height applied somewhere else, right? There you go. Okay, so I have an unused div here, right? Okay, so let's say I'm gonna say like image div 1, okay, and then inside it I get to insert image div 1 in there. Then I get to insert another div, which is image image div 1 wrapper. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So image div 1 sub wrapper, okay, for example, and another div would be image div, okay, something like that. So we have 5 levels of nesting, and all we wanted to achieve here in this case is to add an image at the bottom. Okay, so I'm just gonna add the tiger here. There you go. Tiger, there you go. So this is totally unnecessary, and that increases the DOM, which is unnecessary nesting. So what we can do is to just insert the image right in the first div, or the second div with padding, for instance. But basically, if you can remove unnecessary elements or you can simplify them, then that's better. Sometimes you're going to need a more complex nesting structure, especially if you want to build interactions, which can get quite complex. But if you can, reduce it as much as possible. We can even add just an image here. Forget the divs if you don't need any type of additional interaction here. So I think you get the picture, right? And yeah, apart from that, custom code, try to keep it as clean as possible. Try to minimize your custom code. Remove all unused fonts from the project. Fonts can be insane how much loading time they cause, Like I've had font families that cause a delay of 3 seconds or something, So yeah, remove all unused font styles, clean up the code, use the cleaning function for CSS and interactions, reduce the DOM, reduce image size, and compress images before uploading. Those are the main fixes. There's stuff with JavaScript, there's stuff with breakpoints and responsive design that you can do as well, but that's a little more complex, so we'll do it some other time. So yeah, as you can see, it's supposed to be 5 minutes. I'm gonna say it's 15 minutes. Quick 15-minute tutorial. And yep, I hope you found some value. Again, give me a like, hit the subscribe for more ideas, for more dissections on this type of stuff. And yep, cheers. I'll see you next time. Aesthetics.